Hey everybody, I'm CJ. I saw something on the Mary Sue, and I originally wanted to talk about that. I don't even remember what the hell it was now because I ended up clicking on the wrong thing, and I found something a little bit more interesting that I wanted to talk about. But before I get into that, some crowd funds, Indiegogos. We've got Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog warts and all. Looks like this is going along pretty well. 330,000, not bad. We got Machine Gun Mary by Max DeVille. This looks awesome. It's it looks kind of sort of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer but with guns, and I backed it. You should back it too. Next, we've got The Last Goodbye. This is sort of like a crime noir kind of a thing, and actually, I think yeah, crime noir. So that looks all right. Backed that too. You should back it as well. But getting back to the Mary Sue, I mean, first off, I don't know what it is with fan girls that they always have to let you know that they are girls. But I guess putting that aside, look at this. This is their comic book section. They haven't written anything new about comics, presumably, since. Take a look at this. September the 18th. Because that's what big fans they are. Now, I guess in their defense, there really hasn't been a whole lot to talk about with comics apart from the comic apocalypse that we've seen over the last few months, and it's certainly since the COOF lockdown started. So, but nevertheless, I mean, there's seriously, you had exactly two things to say about comics in the month of September, and one of these isn't even really about comics. It's about an it's about a TV show. I mean, Batman the animated series, as good as it might be, not a comic book. So, but the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, or at least the challenge I gave myself as I worked through all of this, just kind of glanced at a few of these articles. How many of these are actually about comics? And then, of those that have anything to do with comics at all, how many of these articles are about something being problematic? So let's take a look. First up, there's Thanks Thor. Now we can give Tony Stark a call. I actually read this article, God help me, and no, there's nothing problematic about that. So far, so good. This bit of business here with Jason Todd, it's not really about comics, so I don't know if this should even count, but what the hell? Let's just go ahead and let him have it. And there's nothing about anything problematic in there, at least at a glance. We start getting into some of these other things, though, and yeah, you can start seeing the implicit problems starting to pile up here. Next article says Jeffrey Verreges, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, Jeffrey Verreges Marvel variant covers honoring indigenous history are absolutely incredible. And it's presumably problematic that indigenous history was not honored before this time. Next up, Dan Slott is right. Spider Man shouldn't be a bully with his jokes. It's problematic that Spider Man is a bully with his jokes. Following that, DC Comics CCO Jim Lee on the future of the brand in the wake of massive layoffs. Layoffs are problematic. At least Avatar fans have a solo Toph graphic novel on the way. That could go either way. Is it problematic that such a thing didn't exist before? Following that, why would Marvel Comics even consider stripping the Spider Man title from Miles Morales? Such a thing is problematic, people. After that, why X Men's Storm is the rightful ruler of Wakanda. It's problematic that she's not the ruler of Wakanda, wouldn't you say? 2020 Eisner Award voting system plagued by issues and personal data privacy concerns. Personal data getting exposed. Yeah, problematic. Good lord, there's a Rorschach 12 issue spin off miniseries coming to DC Comics. Offhand, that doesn't seem like it's too problematic at all, does it? But let's take a closer look here, shall we? Let's see. Despite the fact, yeah, here we go. Despite the fact that I think Rorschach is a character that is often misused and mistakenly lionized by some of the comic, by some, anyway, mistakenly lionized by some fans of the comic, I really, really enjoy the idea of expanding blah, 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 blah. Basically, The way that some fans view Rorschach, the fandom that some people have for Rorschach, say it with me, that's problematic. Let's see, moving right along. Adventure Zone Pedals to the Metal delivers its most heartfelt installment yet, complete with car chases, sexy plant talk, and bittersweet romance. Nothing problematic in there, but let's just keep this going. Let's see where this takes us. Rescue 2020 Issue 2 keeps bringing the hopeful Pepper Potts feel. Nothing problematic about that. Dark Horse finally fires Scott Alley after years of sexual abuse allegations. As we all know, sexual abuse, that's problematic. Warren Ellis issues a statement after sexual misconduct accusations because asking women out, guys, that's problematic. Moving on, this searing comics anthology about police brutality needs to be on your bookshelf. Number one, police brutality. Oh, yeah, you know that's problematic. And number two, it's problematic if this searing anthology about police brutality is not on your bookshelf. So maybe what we've got here is a twofer. A new Iron Man comic? Don't mind if I do. I don't see anything problematic about that. Nubia, Real One, will finally give DC's first black woman superhero her due. It's problematic that a DC black female superhero hasn't gotten her due before this point. That's just deeply problematic. Next up, we've got the top 5 historic DC comics according to Jeff Johns' personal reading list. I'll go ahead and give the Mary Sue the benefit of the doubt on this. I'm just going to assume they don't see anything problematic about this and just move right along. Next up, this could be my personal favorite. Rumors have Dollhouse creator Joss Whedon in talks to bring the Fantastic Four to life. Now, do you guys see the passive aggression going on here? Rumors have Dollhouse creator Joss Whedon in talks to bring the Fantastic Four to life. Do you see it? What is the thing that Joss Whedon is most famous for? Obviously, it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? So why mention Dollhouse? As I recall, Dollhouse only lasted for 2 seasons. It's just not really anybody's favorite not incarnation. It's not anybody's favorite work of Joss Whedon. It wasn't very successful on TV. It obviously didn't last all that long. It was not critically very well regarded. It just wasn't anything. So why mention that when it's just so much more obvious to mention Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Well, obviously Joss Whedon's star has fallen quite a bit, especially with the online feminist community. Some of the allegations that have been made about him, I'm not here to comment on whether those things are true or not. I'm just here to say those stories are making the rounds. And if what you want to do is throw a little bit of passive aggression at somebody, just throw some shade, you might bring up the least successful thing that they've ever done. I mean, this really would be a step away from saying Justice League director Joss Whedon in talks to bring the Fantastic Four to life. I mean, it's just right up there with that same level of shade. I guess the issue is that technically the Justice League film is credited to Zack Snyder. So even though it really is a Joss Whedon joint, the official credits don't list Joss Whedon. They list Zack Snyder. And so maybe in this case, it is better to mention Dollhouse if what you want to do is just be a passive aggressive little shrew about this. But it's just, I don't know. Yeah, that's just so petty. I just talk about petty. So this is the comics section of the Mary Sue, guys. This is it. What little about this relates to comics at all usually relates to how problematic comics are. Not necessarily everything. I know for a fact that a few of these articles actually don't, but the majority of them do. You want to know what shill media discussion about comics and whatnot, what that looks like? Here you go. The Mary Sue. Lowering the bar for everybody for how many years now? So anyway. Ethan Van Sciver, Cyberfrog, warts and all, back it. Mary Machine Gun, issue 1, back it. The Last Goodbye, back it. I think that's that. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share. Doing those things really helps me out. Also, I'm on Twitter at Cole Loves Comics.